Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Chronicles. My name is Earl Cole, and a happy new year to you all, and welcome to the Wrestling Chronicles, volume number 4. Today, we're going to talk about John Moxley. We have a story about John Moxley. I have some wrestling news. I've got some stuff that I found on Google about Saturday night's main event that'll get you hyped up for tomorrow, next Saturday's show. And we've got so much more in the cook pot. So we got all of that going on today, and we are here with the Wrestling Chronicles. So sit back and enjoy my stories and some Earl Grey tea as I give you all of the juicy, juicy hot topics for today's Wrestling Chronicles, volume number 4. All right, and welcome back to the Wrestling Chronicles, and welcome back to the streams. And make sure that you all smash that like button. You smash that like button. You smash it, and of course, subscribe today. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. John Moxley had an interview with Sports Illustrated, and he was explaining why he bleeds a lot in matches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read excerpts of I can't read. I don't want to read the whole interview, but I'm going to just read little snippets of the interview. So Moxley said, and I quote: "This is what Moxley said. Moxley said, and I quote: I only know one speed, and that's my foot on the gas pedal. If we were going to do something, let's effing do it. And that can be determined, that could be a detrimental when it comes to negative things like drugs or alcohol. But that's my mindset. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So Moxley is saying that he's doing it. Okay. Then he goes on to say, when it comes to blood, it's just going to happen sometimes. Like I said, it's the foot on the gas pedal. Some people said that this is a random match. Why is there blood? I hear that last week versus Tomohiro Ishii. He's one of the greatest of all time. I'm not going to let that moment slip by. I'm not going to, I'm going to foot to the gas, to the effing gas pedal. How, how can I? Then I hear that I can't have a good match without blood. Okay, then you made my argument for me. I'll do it every time. So Moxley is saying here, Moxley is saying that he calls for blood every time, and it doesn't. Not every match it calls for a blood spot. You don't have to bleed in every match. It's just not. I find that to be not necessary. You don't need to bleed in every match. You don't. The rivalry and the storyline itself speaks for itself, and it doesn't call for a blood spot every time in a match. So I disagree with Mox's assessment, and that's just my take on it. That's just my take on it. So he goes on to say the point of this dissertation is that it's a combat sport. but we're not allowed to have blood in matches unless it's personal grudges. We only allow to have blood after 5 month grudges, after someone slept with somebody's wife or somebody ran over someone with a car. Then and only then we are allowed to have dramatic crimson mass that looks the same and just looks the same every single time. For me, realism wise, since this is a combat sport, that means that there's potential for blood in every match. Everything in wrestling is preposterous in to some degree, but it helps when it's suspension to of disbelief. So Moxley is, he's going on to say here that it's a combat sport, and but like I said, I disagree with what he's saying here. I don't think that you don't need blood in every match. You don't. You really don't need blood in every match. It's not necessary. It's just not necessary. Like I said, the storyline speaks for itself, and it speaks volumes. So there are times, yes, where you have a rivalry that goes into a steel cage and a hell in a cell and things of that nature. And it does call that rivalry does call for blood to be spilled because it is a cage match. It is a hell in the cell. It is a street fight. It's a Texas death match. Those matches, those matches have a potential for a blood spot. Those are blood spot matches, but not every single match that you see. Blood spots only should be used in certain instances and what it's designed for and what it calls for. You don't overuse the blood spot. You don't overuse it because it's just not necessary. It's just like with distraction finishes and and interference and interfere. After a while, those things get weary on the audience, and after a while, it gets boring because it's being overused. It's the same playbook you're going to. So I don't think at this instance, I don't think in this instance that it calls for every match to be a blood in it. I don't think every match needs a blood spot. I don't think so. Now, you may disagree with me on that, but okay, that's fine and good. That's fine and good. But I'm just saying for myself, I'm just saying for myself personally, my opinion, we don't need it. We don't need a lot of it. We just don't because it's just not necessary. It's not necessary to have a blood spot. It's just not. It doesn't call for it. And I'm just saying in my heart of hearts here that Moxley is a whirling dervish, and he proved it to me. This article proves it to me. How unpredictable he is. So yeah, I agree with Moxley about the the combat sport. It is a combat sport. I get it. I understand it, but I don't agree with everything. It doesn't call for every blood spot. You don't have to do every blood spot in a match. It's just not. Like I said, it's just not necessary. It's just not conducive to something like that. It's just not. Like I said, if you had a steel cage match, or you have if you had a Texas death match like we had tonight here on Collision with Christopher Daniels and Hangman Adam Page, I heard that was a bloody war. So I mean, this was, like I said, this is just, it is what it is. But like I said, not every match calls for a blood spot. So that's just my opinion. All right, let's get to some wrestling stories here. the Wrestling Observer newsletter was told that Triple H is looking at 2.5 hours as the sweet spot for Raw's typical runtime on Netflix. All right, so I I agree with Triple H here with Raw. I don't think Raw needs to be 2 hours. I don't think Raw needs to be 3 hours anymore. I think 2 hours is manageable. Now, last Monday night we ended about 10:30, which was perfect, which was fine. Grandizer, how are you today? How's it going, Grandizer? I got the feeling that tonight's going to be a good night. That tonight's going to be a good night, and that tonight's going to be a good night. Ooh, yes, Grandizer. Nah, it needs to be 15 minutes. Okay, Grandizer. And thank you for those musical lyrics. And make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you smash that like button, Grandizer. Thank you so much. Thank you, Grandizer. Great to see you. Um, so yeah, I agree with Triple H. 2 hours is enough. Yes, I did, Grandizer. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Great stuff. Nice to see you back. I haven't. I've seen it in your eyes. You like that. You sound a little sick. No, I'm all right, Grandizer. I'm a tired Grandizer, but not sick. I'm okay. Um. So yeah, I agree with Triple H here. Sweet spot for Raw. 2 hours, 2.5 hours is perfect for me. I like 2.5 hours. I think that's great for Netflix. And like I said last Monday night, we ended at 10:30, which was perfect because it gives you time to marinate on what you saw and everything, and sit back and think about the show and what you liked and what you didn't like about it. So put put in the mega hours. Yes, I did, Grandizer. Yes, I did. And all right, so 2.5 hours is the sweet spot for me, and I agree with this assessment. All right, Ray Phoenix had apparently been pulled from AEW online shop, leading to the increased speculation that his future at AEW and soon may be able to join Penta. Yeah, well, if you all didn't see, Penta debuted on Monday Night Raw this past week. He was good in the ring with Chad Gable. I think Penta and Ray Phoenix will thrive in WWE, and I think they're going to have great storylines for them. And just getting a jump off on this, the Observer indicates that Miro, Ray Phoenix, Ricky Starks, and Malachi Black will all sign with WWE after their AEW contracts has expired. In fact, the WWE is already talking creative ideas for Black. See? So the WWE is awaiting these men to come into W. Miro should go back to the WWE because the AEW just didn't know what to do with him. They didn't know what to do with him. They had no creative knowledge on what to do with Miro. And I think it was a shame that he was a bust in AEW. And Ricky Starks, too, another person that was in WWE, now it's going back to WWE. And they didn't have anything to do with him either. And another bust. Another bust. And that was it. So yeah, so that's the story with that. Um all right. All right, let's go to this. Drew McIntyre told Mail Sports Alex McCarthy that he recently asked The Rock for a little favor, and he's working on that for me. So, what's the favor? What's the favor? That's a great question. Inquiring minds want to know what the favor is. I want to know. Well, I guess we're going to find out very soon, I guess. He's working on that for me. The favor. So Rock says that he reportedly told WWE he's not going to be able to do WrestleMania 41. So The Rock says because of his schedule, he cannot work WrestleMania 41. So I don't think we're going to be looking at The Rock and WrestleMania anytime soon. Not this WrestleMania. All right. Christopher Daniels in-ring career is likely to come to a close after tonight's episode of Collision per Fightful Select. His Texas death match against Hangman Adam was taped on Thursday. Um, Fightful Select also says Dave Meltzer says, I don't know how they're going to show this match with so much blood. Yeah, well, apparently this match was really wild and all over the place. And excellent Christopher Daniels retirement angle continues to play out on YouTube. AEW has been running an angle that really doesn't seem like to be Christopher Daniels' last. As someone who has been watching Christopher Daniels wrestle for 20 years and who likes Fallen Angel, a guy processing the fact that his life or past half point. I really wish he was getting more time in AEW Dynamite. Maybe that's for the best, though, because I doubt the 51-year-old would be get 5 minutes on TNT to deliver the kind of promo he doesn't he does at the start of his week, being the elite. So once Frankie Sakarian left AEW, Christopher Daniels was just left in the wind, and he was an authority figure on AEW, but now he's not anymore. And I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with that. So look for Daniels to make some kind of, I guess, make some kind of statement or announcement on AEW about his future. All right. Dave Meltzer notes that AEW's Grand Slam Australia event on February the 15th will air on TNT Network after the coverage of the NBA All Star Saturday night, which will result in a 21-hour or so tape delay. So I think what they're going to do is because of the time difference in Australia, AEW will tape it, but then you're going to have to wait 21 hours to see the event on TNT, which is that's a long tape delay. That's a very long tape delay. 21 hours. It's a long tape delay. So AEW's now. A lot of you thought the Brisbane Entertainment Center. You thought that this show was a pay-per-view, but according to what they say here, this is not a pay-per-view. This is not a pay-per-view. So here, in booking their first match for their AEW Grand Slam show in Australia on February the 15th, AEW has also revealed how it will be broadcast on TNT and Max in Saturday night primetime, essentially replacing the week's episode of Collision. Okay, so AEW's Grand Slam will happen on February the 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT Drama and TNT Max. Women's champion Mariah May will take on Toni Storm in the Casino Gauntlet match. Okay, so that's what's going on. As far as the start of the show, the show. Excuse me. The show will start at 5:30 Australian time, and then 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 in the Central. Grand Slam will also air on the tape delay in the United States. If the show were to broadcast live, it would have started 2:30 in the morning. Right. Grand Slam Australia was never announced as a pay-per-view, although there was some speculation that after AEW Link Link inked their new deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, excuse me, that it might stream exclusively, and originally announced for the Brisbane 50,000 seat Suncorp Stadium, giving the impression it would have been taking the company's 2023-2024 on London event at Wembley Stadium. And since it's been moved indoors to the 13,000 seat plus Brisbane Entertainment Centre, presumably because of disappointing ticket sales. So if you so originally this show was to be held in the Suncorp Stadium, the 50,000 plus seat Suncorp Stadium. However, AEW failed to even move tickets in Australia. So the only tickets that they sold was 1,000 seats, and that was very poor ticket sales. So what they did was they did a 360 and they moved the event indoors to the 13,000 plus seat Brisbane Entertainment Centre, presumably because of disappointing ticket sales. So right now, AEW had to move the event from a stadium to indoors. AEW moves the Grand Slam Australia to a smaller venue. You knew this was going to happen. You knew this was good because they never promoted it right. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying about AEW. You need a live event team. I told everybody this. I've been preaching this. Me and Sarah have been preaching this from here to Calcutta. I've said this. I've said this many times over. That AEW needs a live event team. I knew this was going to happen. I knew the event was going to be a bust. I just knew it. They never promoted it correctly on television. They never did any marketing for it. I haven't heard anything mentioned about it even a couple of times. I've heard it a couple of times, but again, like I said before, I'll say it again. They never promoted it right. They never promoted it right. Now look at the WWE. I know you don't want me to compare AEW to WWE, but listen, this organization, WWE, they know how to drown markets and bring people in. They know. They know how to bring people in. And AEW still is it has their sea legs because they don't promote the proper shows. They don't do it right. You gotta get a live event team. You gotta get a live event team. It's crucial. It's crucial. It really is crucial for the AEW Australian debut coming up in February. AEW went big and booking the Brisbane 52,500 seat Suncorp Stadium. We heard that the initial ticket sales were encouraging, but they slowed to the point a venue change was likely. Last night, on November the 26th, AEW's local ticket partner, Ticket, informed folks who purchased tickets to the Grand Slam event on Saturday, February 15th. The show is moving to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. AEW's website has also updated to reflect the change to the 13,500 seat indoor arena. So they had to switch the venue because they didn't promote it right. They didn't promote it right. And it's their fault. It's their fault. It's their marketing fault. You don't have a live event team, you don't want to address it. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Earlier this week, AEW star Brody King filed for a trademark on the phrase Hounds of Hell. Okay? I don't have a problem with that. I got no problem with that whatsoever. All right, let's see what else is going on in the world of wrestling. On a recent past Q&A, WrestleVolt says that they've heard rumblings of Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair match at WrestleMania 41. I don't have a problem with this. Tiffany Stratton last night on SmackDown was this was probably one of the best Tiffany Stratton matches I've seen in a while with her and Bailey had that program last night on SmackDown. I thought the match was fine. The match was great. Great main event, great chemistry, great nuance in the match. I thought the match was great. I loved it. The crowd loved it. I loved it. It was a clean finish. Tiffany retained the title. I didn't have a problem with this whatsoever. No. So Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania for the first time ever. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. Nope. So what does this mean? Well, here's what this means. Here's what this means. If they want, if the WWE, if this is true, and the WWE wants Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton to meet for the first time at WrestleMania, then they would have to have Charlotte come back because they already seen the vignettes. So Charlotte is probably going to come back into the Women's Royal Rumble. Okay, so she comes back in the Women's Royal Rumble and she wins it. She wins it. And then she will take on Tiffany, she'll pick Tiffany Stratton to go after at WrestleMania 41. So I think that's the road. I think that that's what's going to happen here. We're going to have two predictable winners in the Royal Rumble. We're going to get Cena to win the Royal Rumble, and then we're going to get Charlotte to win the Royal Rumble. I think that's the road they're going to travel on. I have a feeling that that's what they're going to do here. If this comes in fruition, like I said, if it comes in fruition, and this is what the WWE wants, then Charlotte would win the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble. She come out the next week on WWE TV, and she will challenge Tiffany Stratton. So I think that's the road that they're going to travel on. Okay. All right. Russell Votes also says that the WWE wasn't happy with last year's Hall of Fame induction ceremony, particularly how significant portion of the crowd left after Paul Heyman's acceptance speech. Votes isn't sure how this year will be different yet, but knows that the WWE is trying to come up with different ways to present everything. So if you all didn't see last year's Hall of Fame induction ceremony, the WWE wasn't happy with the WWE wasn't happy with the audience after they filed out to after Paul Heyman's speech. Once Paul Heyman got on stage and he started to talk about his Hall of Fame career and thanking the audience, and everybody was chanting ECW, ECW. They said, "Oh, we seen Paul. Okay, we can leave." And everybody head for the parking lot. Now, I was there. I was there last year. Okay, for the Hall of Fame induction. So not a lot of people left. I left because I had to go back to the hotel. I have to get transportation. So I didn't drive. I took a cab. So for me, I had to get out of that parking lot. And I'm going to tell you something else. You know, the WWE should understand this. When you go to the Wells Fargo Center, okay, and you go to that arena and you go to the event there, that parking lot is massive. That parking lot is massive. It's humongous. If you don't get out the right exit, the right street corner, you're going to be screwed because you have to walk around the entire complex to get to the right corner. So I'm sorry, but there was a parking problem getting into the parking lot and getting out of the parking lot, and everybody wanted to get to their car early, and it was brutally cold. The weather, the weather wasn't good at all. So between you trying to get to your car and getting out of the parking lot early just to make sure that you get out of the crazy complex, I mean, come on. People wanted to go back to the hotel. They had friends. The people came with friends. Some people I came by myself. But I mean, I had to get a cab. I had to get a cab. I had to get into a cab to get back to the hotel. That's why I left early. I couldn't stay for the whole ceremony. I would have loved to have stayed for the whole ceremony. I thought the whole ceremony was great. I saw a few people before I left. Before Heyman came out, I saw a few people. I enjoyed myself. I saw what I saw. And then the next day I had standing. And then another reason why the crowd left as well is because other people had tickets for stand and deliver. And that was early in the morning. That was early in the afternoon. So you got to go to bed. So the WWE, that's their fault. That's their fault. You book stand and deliver and night number one together on the same day. That's your fault. Because the thing is that if you had tickets for stand and deliver, you had to go to bed. You didn't have all night to sit around and watch the entire ceremony. I had to go to stand and deliver the next day because I had tickets. I had tickets for stand and deliver. And I wanted to go to bed. Between getting out of the parking lot, getting out of that crazy parking lot, getting out of the going to stand and deliver, and getting a cab, getting back to the to downtown area. I mean, all of that took effort, and you had to leave early to get that done. So I'm sorry, but WWE, you booked it the way you booked it, and that's why people left. That's why some people hightailed it out of there because they wanted to get to their cars. All right. Regarding the talk of WWE PLE, regarding the talk, I'm sorry, listen to this. Regarding the talk of WWE hosting a PLE in Mexico soon, WrestleVote says that there is a very high possibility that will happen in 2026. Okay, so according to WrestleVote, they're saying that WWE will hold a PLE in Mexico, but it won't happen this year. It'll happen in 2026. I don't have a problem with that. These international PLEs, they do very well, and it generates money for the WWE. I don't have any issues with this. I don't have any issues with this whatsoever. Another one from WrestleVotes. Another one, WrestleVotes says that WWE is shooting to have Tona Loa back on TV around WrestleMania. Now, if you all didn't know what happened to Tona Loa, he ruptured his his tendon in his arm, and he had to have surgery after the Survivor Series. So he's out of action for now, and he will be back around WrestleMania, according to WWE. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have an issue with that. WWE has an idea on how long they want Raw on Netflix to be. Per Fightful Select, it's not known that the length, what's the length, but neither the premiere nor this week's rest will reflect the official runtime. So I said earlier that Triple H says that 2 hours is the sweet spot for a Raw. I again, like I said, I don't have an issue with this whatsoever. I don't. I think 2 hours is good enough for the audience. It's good enough. It is. Both Fightful Select and the PW Insider report that on January the 13th, Raw was timed 2 hours, 2.5 hours, so WWE could put on dark matches after the Netflix stream ended and still allow people to flying out that night to get to the airport. That was known and not a surprise to anyone backstage. Insiders say while some talent were upset that their segments were trimmed after Penta went long, they weren't upset at Penta. Well, here's the thing, folks. When you are running a weekly episodic television show like Raw, and you got a package going on backstage, everyone should know their part. And everybody should know that you're subject to change when it comes to your promos and everything else. The talent's got to fly out to the next city. The WWE ring crew and production people have to tear down the ring and equipment inside the arena, pack it up, and move it over to the next city. So you should not be upset at management for doing this because they are in a time crunch and in a time orderly fashion. Those trucks drive down the highway and they got to get to this next city. They have to set up for this next city. They got to do all that front loading stuff in the loading dock to get inside the arena to set up for the next city and the next town. So I mean, yeah, their promos were trimmed, but yes, Penta's was long. The reason why Penta's was long was because he was making his debut on Raw. So that's why his promo was long. They gave him all the time that he needed to get his stuff out and promote himself. So I don't know why everybody's getting all upset. I don't understand why you're getting all upset. Why you getting your panties in a bunch over this? I mean, really? I mean, Penta was debuting on Raw. That's what everybody was looking for. That's what everybody was want to see. It was the worst, best kept secret, like Michael Cole said. And I don't have any issues with this whatsoever. You all need to just stop. Just need to chill. Netflix and chill. Yeah, there you go. TNA is planning a live episode of Impact from Orlando on February the 20th per Fightful Select. It won't be starting the regular live broadcast, but Sean Ross Sapp, TNA's source, tells Impact will go live on a special occasion when it makes sense for the company. Okay, I have no problem with that either. I don't have any issues with none of these. I don't have any issues with it. I just don't. Um, so all right, let's talk about this. So let's talk about this for a second. This happened last night on Friday Night SmackDown. If you all didn't see Friday Night SmackDown last night, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. So Nick Aldis had a contract for Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Called it an addendum. An addendum, I believe. I hope I got that right. But anyway. He had the contract for them. Kevin Owens refused to sign it. Cody Rhodes refused to sign it as well. He said, if Kevin won't sign it, then I won't sign it. And they kept going back. He said, he said, he said. So Nick Aldis had enough. Nick Aldis had enough. And he made a phone call. He made one phone call. And he called down NXT. And he's going to bring Shawn Michaels. So Shawn Michaels is going to oversee this contract signing on Saturday night's main event next Saturday nationwide on NBC. Shawn Michaels will be part of the Saturday night's main event fabric because he's a San Antonio, Texas native. I don't have any problem with this whatsoever. I think this is great. And both Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens must relinquish their titles because they're going to be suspended above the ring. And last night, I'm going to tell you this much: Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, they are going to have a hellacious ladder match. This ladder match is going to be hellacious. This ladder match is going to be one for the record books. I guarantee you. These two men are going to tear each other apart at the Royal Rumble in Indianapolis, Indiana, in Lucas Oil Stadium. I cannot wait for the Royal Rumble. I think this is going to be shaping up to be one of the most. The only thing is that I'm disappointed with again. They keep ruining the element of the Royal Rumble with the men and the women entering and everything. I don't want to know. I'm going to explain something to you all. For me, I know a lot of people won't agree with me with this, but that's fine. I respect your opinion. But to me, I grew up on the Royal Rumble. And to me, the Royal Rumble is something where you have an element of surprise. You don't know who's coming out. You don't know who's number 12 or 13 or 14. But the way you release names of people, it just ruins the mystique of the Royal Rumble. I want to be surprised with the Royal Rumble. Maybe a person that was injured and was out of action for many years and many months comes back to the Royal Rumble and shocks the world. I want to see some shock and awe when it comes to the Royal Rumble, the men and the women. But when you talk about the people that are in it and the names and you're filling up the list of people that's going, it just ruins the purpose of the whole Royal Rumble. I don't like that. I think that you should have some kind of element, some kind of surprise. Because I grew up on the Royal Rumble. I did. And for me, I always look for the surprise entrance. I'm always looking for something shocking, something that you never thought that you've seen before. And that's all I'm saying. But when you release names of the women and the men and who's in it, and it just takes the air out of the expectation balloon. So that's all I'm saying about that. That's the only thing I'm disappointed with the Royal Rumble. And they've been doing this down for every year now. Every year they've been doing this, releasing the names of the people and the participants. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. All right. So let's talk about this for a second. WWE has set the stage for an electrifying Saturday night's main event next Saturday night, where Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens will sign their contracts for the Royal Rumble ladder match, moderated by Michaels. This isn't just about the paperwork, it's about the prelude to the high stakes encounter at the Royal Rumble, adding the excitement and much anticipated match with Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. Yes, that's also been confirmed. So Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman will meet for the first time ever next Saturday night on Saturday night's main event. I'm looking forward to this. And don't forget Gunther. Gunther will defend his title against Jay Uso. Jay main event Uso next Saturday night on Saturday night's main event. So the show is getting put together in earnest because we haven't had any matches announced for weeks. Now all of a sudden, now you're going to put your foot on the gas and start pumping it towards San Antonio. I don't know why you waited this long, but okay. So Strowman and Jacob Fatu will be in the ring at Saturday night's main event. Gunther will take on Jay main event Uso. We also have the Intercontinental Championship up for grabs, and that will be Braun Breaker defending against Sheamus at Saturday night's main event. So we got all of that potpourri of action just for you in San Antonio, Texas, next Saturday night nationwide on NBC and Peacock. So anyway, everyone, thank you for watching the Wrestling Chronicles. Please make sure that you subscribe and like that like button, smash that like button. It's greatly appreciated. We're having fun today with this. So And they're also saying that there's also a buzz about a potential surprise appearances that keep the wrestling community on edge in their seats. So WWE is probably going to roll out some surprises for this Saturday night's main event. I don't have a problem with it. So that's Saturday night's main event, and that will happen next Saturday night on Peacock and NBC. All right, WWE announces the return of Charlotte Flair with an underwhelming hype video. So you see Charlotte in a vignette, and all her wrestling lore, all her resume to be displayed in this vignette. But here's the question: was the promo underwhelming? Was her promo underwhelming? I don't know. I saw the video. From what I saw, it's all about her. It's about her accomplishments. It's about everything, and that's what's gonna happen with Charlotte Flair. But again, like I said before, I say again, I'm not. I don't think it was. I don't know. Was it underwhelming? I don't know. Solo Sikoa, after he left SmackDown, Jacob Fatu stole the show, and he did with his passionate promo last night. So, so that's the story with Charlotte Flair. That's the story with Charlotte Flair, and that is going to do it for the Wrestling Chronicles. I want to thank you all so much for watching today. Thank you so much for all your time and energy. I'm going to be back on Monday night with Monday Night Raw, and this was fun for me. I love the Wrestling Chronicles. I love talking about wrestling. I love talking about stories. If you out there, if you want me to talk about a subject on the Wrestling Chronicles, all you have to do is you're next time I'm live and you're in the chat, let me know in the chat if you want to on the next show. What do you want me to talk about? So, in the wrestling community, what do you want me to talk about? What kind of subjects do you want to talk about in wrestling? I gave you all kinds of news, rumors, and reports here at the Wrestling Chronicles. All right, let's wrap up the show with a little bit more wrestling news. How about that? According According to the PW Torch, Malachi Black told some people in AEW in the last year or two that he was burnt out and perhaps even mentioned potential retiring. It's uncertain if this is true or not, or if it was just he saying that he hopes to be lead in the AEW release. So he wants his release. He wants his release in AEW. That's interesting. Everyone in WWE who Meltzer talked to believes that the drama going on with Corey this week was a shoot, and Meltzer is learning that in that direct is leaning in that direction as well. I think this was a shoot. I think this was a shoot. I think what Corey Graves, you have to understand when you're in a wrestling business like this, and you got you're a broadcaster. Sometimes they switch you around all over the place. So you have to know what you get. You have to know what you're getting into. Sources told WrestleVotes that WWE will host WrestleMania press event. Will host a WrestleMania press event on the Super Bowl weekend, just like just like last year when The Rock slapped Cody Rhodes in the face. So, um, during the Super Bowl, the WWE will be doing press releases and press events to push WrestleMania 41 and pushing those ticket sales. See, this is how you do marketing. See, this is how you do marketing, guys. A lot of people pointing out that AEW advertised Grand Slam Australia to air on TNT, the network, at the same time as the NBA All-Star Saturday Night event on February 15th, which raised the question about whether a schedule change will be made. AEW has now posted update graphics that doesn't include the time. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any issue with this. I don't have any issue with this either. All right. So so that's gonna so that's gonna do it, folks. That's gonna do it for me and the Wrestling Chronicles. I want to thank you all so much for watching today and this afternoon, and thank you for taking your time and energy. Make sure that you smash the like button on all of my videos, and of course, make sure that you subscribe today. I greatly appreciate it. A programming note, I'm going to be back on Monday night with Monday Night Raw. I'll be back with Raw on Monday night at Netflix. We're going to Netflix and chill. We're going to do that on Monday night. Then Wednesday night, of course, traditional AEW Dynamite. We have the wrestling experience on Thursday. And then, of course, we're going to end the week with Friday night SmackDown. And that will do it for the week. And then we will have next Saturday night's main event. I'm going to be on the air for Saturday night's main event at 7:50 Eastern Time. It'll be live from the Frost Bank Center in downtown San Antonio, Texas. And it's going to be exclusively on Peacock and NBC nationwide. So that's happening next Saturday night. Next Saturday night, get ready for WWE Saturday night's main event. Okay, everyone, that's going to do it for me here at the Wrestling Chronicles. I want to thank you all for watching. All of you all enjoy Collision. Tonight is Collision. It's on TNT, and it'll begin at 8 p.m. They filmed it last Thursday night, and in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's going to be a great night of AEW action. Hope everybody enjoys that and everything else. And like I said, I'll be back in cyberspace on Monday night for Monday Night Raw. Until then, everyone, thank you for watching the Wrestling Chronicles. I'm Earl Cole. Have a great rest of your Saturday afternoon. And thank you for watching. And good day, everyone. And stay safe and stay warm in this winter weather.